Over 2 decades of sports radio dominance in Utah.
My favorite.
This is DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We are joined by the former BYU Cougar, Bryan Kehl. Bryan, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
We are doing well. I am so curious. We're getting so close to football. You played and you heard coaches talk, and now you're all done playing and you hear coaches talk. And there should be a lot of positivity around BYU. They won a lot of games last year and they got a lot of players back. But I wonder if this time of year you're 80% in on the positivity, 90%, 100%. Where are you?
Honestly, it's kind of a weird situation. I have higher expectations than I don't even know. I don't know the last time I've had such high expectations, and it's just a result of winning. You know, we've won a lot of games the last 2 years, and like you just said, we got a lot of players back. So it's like you look at where we were last year and the year before, and then you look at this year and you're like, okay, well, that guy's back. We're better at this position. We're better at it. You just kind of start to drink the Kool-Aid. And, you know, I've always enjoyed that nice blue Kool-Aid. So I'm all in, man. My expectations they're to the moon.
You've been around a lot of coaches during your time as a player, from youth ball all the way up to the NFL. And BYU's got a new defensive coordinator in Kelly Poppinga taking over for Jay Hill, who was wildly successful. Based on your knowledge, what makes a coordinator be good?
Yeah, there's so many things, and it goes beyond just understanding the X's and O's and understanding football, because that's obviously a huge component of it. But then if you're a play calling coordinator, which most are, there's this whole other element, which is just being cool and calm when the bullets are flying, and being able to think clearly and strategize on your feet very quickly and respond to what your opponent is calling. And so it's not just, you know, creating a good defense, an effective defense or offense or whatever it may be, but it's also it's in the moment when the game circumstances dictate it, being able to dial up what your team needs on that play, that down and distance, that spot on the field, and that's really the X factor that separates the average from the good to the great. And the great ones, they have that X factor. So for K-Pop, who's, you know, one of my great friends and teammates, and I have great expectations for him, there's no doubt in my mind that he knows all the X's and O's. He understands it. He's crafted a great defense. The only thing that's, for me and for any of us, that's to be seen is can you dial up the right call on the down and distance at the time in the game. So that's the only thing that's kind of an unknown, and him being a first time, you know, play caller, that's where it'll be interesting to see. But as far as knowing football, there's no question there. He knows his stuff. We'll just see it. I just hope that he can call it and dial it up at the right time.
Now, as you get older and you watch more film and you've been through more situations, you're bound to have your own opinions. Have you ever been in the huddle and the play call comes in, you go, oh, that's stupid, they're going to pick up a first down here. Or the play call comes in and, this is brilliant, they have no chance.
Absolutely. 100% absolutely. And, I mean, we'll just go back to, you know, playing with K-Pop. Our senior year, we were in Provo. We were playing TCU. They were really good at the time. We were really good. And it was a close game. It was a Thursday night game, close game. And Bronco, he was not, at that point in time, was not super aggressive. We played a bend but don't break kind of style of defense, right? This was 2007. And we had scored to go ahead, and I don't remember how much time was left in the game, but it was fourth quarter, not like last minute, but, you know, middle of the fourth quarter. Like, we needed to get a stop. And we played like a conservative, you know, every play that came in was a conservative, just playing coverage. And every time we're just like, come on. And sure enough, TCU went down the field and scored. And then we got the ball back and we scored. And then now it was like crunch time. Like there's very little time left in the game. And, if they go down and score, they're probably going to win. And this time around, Bronco calls 4 straight blitzes. I'll never forget this because we were all just like, see, you trusted us. And, we delivered. He called 4 straight blitzes. And we had like an incompletion, a 2-yard gain, and 2 sacks. And it was 4 and out, game over. And it was just, there's a lot more that goes into it. But to answer your question, yes, there are times where the play comes in and the guys are rolling their eyes like, come on, dude.
I thought you'd give us an answer like that, and I love the specifics, Bryan. That was great.
Talking with Kelly, he'll just recite where this defense came from, and he goes back to Kyle Whittingham's father, Big Fred, who did coach at BYU, also obviously coached in the NFL and at Utah, and how it's been passed down. So the guy has never been a defensive coordinator, but yet has had extensive training, and the lineage is really strong. So what do you think he's going to do in terms of being aggressive at the right time? Because it turns out that Bronco was aggressive at the right time under your circumstances, as you just explained to us.
He was. And Bronco's a phenomenal coach. And honestly, he understood our personnel at the time. And we were limited in the back end. And so being aggressive was a roll of the dice, okay? So now look at BYU right now. Look at BYU's personnel. And, I was talking to someone about this the other day, not just in football, but in basketball, but every sport, the major sport. You look at BYU, just the personnel, there is more team speed and athleticism than they've ever had. And that's not debatable. That's not just opinion. Like, that is absolutely quantifiable fact.
Yep.
Okay. They have more athleticism, more team speed than they've ever had. So in the context of defense and calling a defense and a coordinator and how aggressive can you be, speed is a great equalizer, and it is a great redeemer, because if you get beat and you have that extra gear, you can catch up. If you're out of position and you have, that elite speed, you can get back into position, and it gives a coordinator a lot of ability, a lot of freedom to call stuff that if they don't have that, then they're not able to call it. And so, yeah, I expect Kelly to be very aggressive, and I think he's picked up, and the conversations I've had with him and that I've just heard him, to the media, to other people, is he's picked up little nuggets from everywhere he's gone. And that's who he is. Like, that's the type of guy he is. Like, he's the guy with the notepad paying attention. And, oh, okay, yeah, I like that. And writes it down. And he's always been that way. And so I just fully expect him to have picked up all the little nuggets from all his stops and everyone that's influenced him. And then now, like we just said, the question is, can you call it at the right moment and the right time and put that part of it together? But I do expect him to be aggressive.
Back in the day, when, as you point out, there wasn't as much athletic ability, you obviously had NFL players, and you played in the league, I think 5 years, maybe 6, and you played with David Nixon. I think he played 3 years in the NFL. So you had NFL guys, and NFL guys at other positions too. But how big was the drop-off with the depth, and what do you think now of the second string? So either you rotate guys and keep them fresh, or if you have injuries, guys can step up and still play at a high level. Do you see a big difference between now and then?
Yeah, there is. And that's really what helps you sustain through a whole season of pounding in a conference like the Big 12. Because football, it's 100% injury rate. Like, if you play football for any amount of time, like, you're going to get something, right? And it's just college football and NFL football. It is just a brutal game. There's going to be injuries. What does your depth look like? Going back to the historical BYU teams, yeah, the starting lineups were really, really great. Like, quality players, NFL guys, like you said. And the fault there just didn't have the depth. And so, you look at seasons where the injury bug just really nipped us, and it just, you just can't sustain the performance with the reserves. And now with the way the program's gotten itself, the depth is so much better. And sometimes, there might be a young guy who might be more talented that comes in, inexperienced and young, but maybe more talented. And in fact, I remember I went to this team event a year ago before the season and was sitting there talking to Jay Hill, and he was telling me about some young guys that he was like through the roof on because they were so talented, like very young and inexperienced and still need to learn football. But as far as talent, though, better than guys that were older than them. And so that's something that's new. That's a new thing for BYU. We've never had that. And so it is a great result of the resources that they put in place and being in a Big 12 and all of those things.
All right, that leads me right into my next thought with you. The last couple of weeks, there's been a lot of commotion and an apparent disconnect between Kalani Sitake and what he says is basically owed to him, not personally, but to the program, versus what the administration or the athletic director is willing to give, whatever it might be. So you can comment on that if you want, but my thought for you is, we talk about no distractions. What are your thoughts on this being a potential distraction? It seems like that Kalani's been able to insulate the team from it.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to be said about that, and so much that I would say and I won't say on the air and all that stuff. And I don't even know all the details. I hear things, and I'm not involved officially anywhere down there, so I'm not privy to all the details and all the particulars. I just have my opinions and what based off of what I hear. And I'm a football guy. I'm biased. Like, football is amazing, and the resources should and have been given to football, and it's been cool to see in the last couple of years how the decision makers, whether that's in Provo or in Salt Lake, in regards to BYU and using resources, not just dollars, but time and priority. So resources, whatever they may be, that they've been unlocked a bit in the last couple of years, and hopefully they continue to be unlocked. And then with that, it's just cool as a lifelong BYU fan to see the sports have success directly correlated to those resources. And, all the Olympic sports have just dominated forever at BYU. They've been great, and that's been fantastic, and there's a lot of pride in that. And then, of course, the last couple of years there's been tremendous success for football and basketball, and I hope that continues. I'm not privy to all the details, but I want it all, man. I want us to use the resources. I want Kalani to be happy. I want Kevin Young to be happy. I want the brass upstairs to be happy, and I want us to just go win. And so whatever that looks like, whatever it takes to get there, let's just go do it. That's where I'm at with it.
I think Kalani has a lot of momentum and a lot of power in this discussion because they've won double-digit games 4 times in 6 years, and they've had some really different problems thrown at them, and they've overcome them on the way to those 10, 11, 12-win seasons, whatever they were. The 2 years they didn't get there, they had quarterback injuries, but overcoming COVID, losing the number 1 pick in the draft, you think you're going to have a senior quarterback, suddenly have a freshman starter who wasn't at spring ball. He's overcome a lot. Having said all that, do you expect it'll be 5 out of 7?
I do. And here's the thing. You look, I think BYU and Utah fans I don't think they realize how good they've had it. You look at Kyle Whittingham, he's one of the finest football coaches in the country. And that's been proved by the fact that a blue blood of the blue bloods just came and snatched him, right? And so Utah's been blessed. And honestly, like they did not know how good they had it for a lot of years. And some of them do, but absolutely blessed. He's just an outstanding football coach, and I expect Michigan to dominate. Okay. Now for Kalani, there's a lot of BYU fans that do not know how good they have it. Kalani is a special guy, and that's proven by the fact that Penn State almost coached him. And the only reason they did it is because Kalani, like me, is true blue through and through, lifelong fan, grew up, dreams, all that stuff. That's the only, it's not dollar. There's no other reason. The only reason that they were able to hold on to him was because at the end of the day, he wants to be at BYU. He's a BYU guy. But all that being said, like, there's a lot of people, fans, pundits, you name it, that just they don't understand how special of a person and a coach he is, and he really is. And it's not, I don't blow smoke. You guys know how I am. I call balls and strikes, and they're both. He's just a phenomenal coach. And so, yes, I do expect them to go do it again this year. I think he does more with less than most coaches in the country, and even, whatever complaints or whatever, resources that aren't being allocated or any of that aside, like, he's going to go produce, and I expect him to do it again this year because he rallies the troops, man. He's the type of coach that, it's cliche, but it's true. He's the type of coach that guys just like, I'll run through a wall for that guy. And that's how the players in that locker room are. And so they're going to go perform for him. And I expect that again this year.
Yeah, I see no reason. I mean, I think that's well said, and you do call balls and strikes as you see them, and you've been that way since you were a player for sure. It's just in your personality and your DNA to be able to say what you feel, and you do it very well. So I think you encapsulize, if that's a word, some fancy word probably over my head, that the essence of the program stems from the coach, and it starts from there, and it goes all the way down, and this program is in a good spot largely because of him. I don't know that there's any other way to say it.
I agree. Like, and that's, people that don't know the details or just understand, like, they just don't understand where we would be with some other coaching and he made some comments recently about how much he appreciates Broughton and Bronco and Lavelle now more than before, because now he understands what they were dealing with. The combination of expectations coupled with restrictions that are put in place to be the football coach or whatever coach at BYU. And it's just a unique situation. It's a unique institution, which I love and I'm all for, but it comes with it some different parameters. And, in a lot of ways you're playing down, you're playing with a hand behind your back. You're expected to go compete with higher restrictions or rules and all that stuff, and he does it. And he's just special, man. I love the guy.
He is dealing with restrictions that are not dealt with at other schools, to be sure. But is this another case where you look back 20 years and think you're seeing more tats, more earrings, more long hair? I don't know. You probably got better examples than I do. If you see things,
no, I have. You know what? I have noticed that, and that's a whole topic for another thing. And what's interesting, there's members of the church that are listening out there. It's kind of interesting. I was just on that subject. I looked at something just the other day in the handbook because I was wondering, like, what have they changed the stance on tattoos, and the wording is different now than it used to be. And it's just there's some things that are different. It's not as black and white, hard lines, it's just some relaxing of the phraseology, if you will. And so, you do see more of that stuff on campus and more of that in church on Sunday, which is, we want to have a big tent and everybody's invited and everybody's involved. And I think that's great.
Bryan, we'll leave it right there for now, but we will get back to you in their games and see what you think of the way they're shaking out. How about that?
I can't wait, man.
Okay.
Looking forward to it.
We appreciate you coming on. Thanks, Bryan.
Yep, you bet.
Bryan Kehl, former BYU, and I didn't mention a few NFL teams, I think most prominently the New York Giants.
Giants and Rams, I think, were the two. And I didn't think you saw tats. I thought you saw right through them. You just judge everyone in their purest form. And now you're talking about tats and earrings and long hair.
Difference between noticing and judging, PK. Not blind.
I judge. I fully admit I judge. Yeah, I'm a human being. That's what it boils down to.
Who loves dogs?
My dog.
Selected
Your dog's
dogs.
another story.
Limited number of dogs. especially based on whether it's on a leash or not and what it's doing in your yard. I have to go home and talk to some neighbors.
I've been bit
I
twice.
don't need to clean up after your dog.
Twice. I
was only bit once as a kid.
Doberman got me.
Oh, yeah?
Doberman. Every time I watch Fletch, I have PTSD.
Dobermans.
You ever seen Fletch, El Capitan?
Intimidating
I have
dogs.
not seen
That
Fletch,
movie's
no.
older than you. By a
Have
wide
you heard of
margin.
it?
I don't think I have, actually.
Chevy Chase got some slapstick. It's got Provo in it.
Yeah, it's right across the street from BYU. In fact, the Dobermans are in Utah County when he comes up here. It's a funny movie.
You know what? I think that movie's on the list of movies I need to watch,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I just
yeah.
got to get around to it.
It's silly funny.
Yeah. That's grab a pizza Friday night, have a few laughs.
It reminds me so much of the TV show Love American Style. Have you ever heard of that show?
No, totally right over the head.
See, DJ is a big TV guy. That's why I brought it up.
That's before my time, man.
You watched it. You
I
did.
I saw it one time.
See, you watched it.
I did. My grandmother watched it. You ever see the show? I'm looking at her like, have you met my mother? No, I haven't watched the show. I was like 8 or 9.
Well, there's a show, How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah, there is. I haven't. I should binge that show. It seems pretty funny. I see clips on social media, but I haven't watched that show. All right, DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. So coming up next, we'll get to everything you missed in this show. Stay with us right here on the Zone. Oh, we got to give away tickets too, don't we? It's a Win Tickets Wednesday. We'll do that right after the break. Stay with us.
For all of you, less motivated listeners, it's time for your 9 o'clock. Where the heck have you been headlines?
Where you at?
With DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's a Win Ticket Wednesday. Caller 12 right now, 801-575-ZONE. Wins a family 4-pack of tickets to Wings and Wheels 2026 coming to the Spanish Fork Airport on Saturday, September 26th. I think we're going down there for a remote this year. This was fantastic. We went last year, Alex, and it was hilarious. They literally set us up on a table by one of the hangar or garages there, and it was locked up, so I don't know exactly what it was, but we're kind of out of the way. But the runway is right there, and like plane takes off, it comes around the corner, and there was no use in us talking. We just looked at each other and started laughing. It's like, how can we do a radio show right now? But if anybody had any doubt where they were, where we were that day, they knew.
Just sitting there enjoying the show.
That is clearly an airplane in the background. So we were down there in advance of the show last year. You want to go to the show this year? Family 4-pack tickets right now, 801-575-ZONE, and head out to the Spanish Fork Airport Saturday, September 26th for Wings and Wheels 2026. It's a big deal, and it keeps getting bigger. Free tickets right now, 801-575-ZONE. Remember that plane? And us just cracking up.
It was funny to be there with the planes, but it was also fascinating to look at them. And that was I was glad we went down there. It was fun for me just to check out all that stuff that was right in front of us. But we have never done a show from the runway, basically.
The show on the runway was the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, the planes are cool. If you ever have a chance to go to Hill Air Force Base has a museum up there. A lot of people vacation in San Diego, going to Balboa Park. They have the Air and Space Museum there, and obviously the Smithsonian has a pretty cool display. So have a chance to check those things out whenever. Planes have a little bit of magic to them. All right, it is time right now to get you up to speed on everything you missed in this show. And brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your local trusted financial fiduciary. Call 1-855-TRAJAN1 or visit their website at TrajanWealth.com. A lot of football today, PK. A lot of positivity out there. And with good reason, these teams have been winning. We just had Bryan Kehl on. If you use the word, spoiled. This has been awesome. It's not an automatic. And yet here we are.
Well, nothing is an automatic in the world of sports and really in life for that matter. And particularly for BYU, this is a sweet time because Utah had the upper hand clearly, dominantly for over a decade. And you were wandering around in sort of a wasteland with Independence there for a while. And they were competing for Pac-12 titles and going to Rose Bowls. I mean, gosh, that's about as bad as it gets between a rival.
Mm-hmm.
But now
Now they're back in the same league, right? Yeah.
It's even. And, the games, so they've played twice in league play, and the games have been decided by 4 points. Is that what we got?
24-21 last year.
And wasn't the other one a one-pointer? There's a last-second field goal by Farron.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe 5 points. But anyway, they've been neck and neck, and they both had good teams. And I expect both to have good teams this year. And when you get down to it, every game really matters, especially for these teams in this conference, because of the fact that there is not even close to a guarantee that they'll let a second team in.
24-21, 22-21. Let that guide you on all your, FanDuel prop bets. That's what the last two games have looked like.
Actually, I would sit that one out.
I can see why you would do that, because you always do.
I always do, but
as do I.
It's
Alex,
unpredictable.
Oh, Alex is on the phone. He's giving away a winner. Can't find out if he sits that out. Oh yeah, it's crazy the way these games. There was one that when they went 26-17, I think that was kind of an odd score. 9 points is a big margin in this rivalry. You see it every once in a while, but you don't see a lot of it.
And
even during that domination, remember Utah, it looked like they were going to win comfortably, and then BYU scores late. Actually, I think a couple of late scores, and then Taysom Hill gets stopped on a 2-point conversion. So even in the streak, there were a bunch of close games.
Yeah, and those games are just for bragging rights. Here, it's literally for an opportunity to go to a playoff.
Yeah, go to the conference title game and get your way into the college football playoff.
Right.
So a ton of positivity, mostly warranted, given the players they have back from what they accomplished.
It's definitely warranted. I've got no problem with it.
A few more questions at Utah, just because we don't know how Morgan Scalley is going to handle adversity, and there's more unknown.
That's what it boils down to, because this is the first time in 2+ decades that they've been in this situation. And then not just the guy retiring or quitting, because he didn't retire, but then taking so many guys. And which I believe actually may be beneficial, because it allows Morgan to put his stamp on the program even more.
Build your own staff.
Yeah.
Yeah. As opposed to inheriting the whole thing, and then you're trying to do it different, but everybody's used to that way, and then question. Bring in some people, they don't know how it was, whatever. Or if they do, they only know it from the outside.
Right. Everybody on the offensive staffs, except for one, and several on the defensive staff. And then the holdovers, you promoted a couple of guys.
Colton Swan's got a new responsibility, so it's a new deal for him.
And I think, Sharif Shaw's been around enough, and those two are super tight anyway.
Sharif and Scalley, yeah. During the press conference, Ford, see what I did there? Mm-hmm. Ford spent quite a bit of time talking about Sharif and their bond and the debt he owes Sharif and how much he loves him and on down the line.
I've seen those guys together on the golf course.
Yeah.
So that you can argue now that the bond is tighter, because last year, who do you got to make sure if Scalley's watching me, I got to make sure I'm okay, but I also got the old man there. I got to make sure. Well, now it's just the one guy, and now it's new. Everybody's together, new. It's a new staff. Even though there are some holdovers, it's a new staff. There's a new freshness about it, and they want to show everybody out there, hey, that other guy was really good, but we're really good too.
Yeah, Sharif has a really unique relationship with Morgan, and he's talked about it on multiple occasions when they were young and coming up. And you say, well, if I ever get the chance, I will, blah, 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 whatever it is. And Sharif's like, he has a way of Sharif, he says it quietly, he raises an eyebrow, but it lands with a little bit of a punch. He goes, hey, remember when you said you can do that now? You really going to do that? Yeah, I am. So he and Morgan have had some of those conversations.
And all that right now is talk, and we get to see how it will be when it happens. Because inevitably, when it happens is basically everything. There's going to be something that's going to happen in virtually every form during the course of a football season. And how are they going to handle it? How are they going to respond? Tough times come in a quarter, tough times come in a half, they come in a game, they come in a season. And how do you respond? Great times come too. And how do you respond to that? Because you got to make sure that you still keep your edge about you, even in the great times. And all that stuff is brand new.
In addition to the college football, there's the, and that's all fun because that's so much closer to the game, but there's the rules. And the Big Ten will not allow football players to return from the NFL. Now the SEC is drawing up a rule to stop the NFL, the NBA, and the WNBA players from returning. And the ACC and Big 12 are expected to follow in short order with similar rules. You were saying the Big 12 you heard meeting today, so we might hear something as early as today. But it sounds like everything we're reading is like all 4 of these leagues are going to be on board by the end of the week. This is moving quickly here.
You know, at some point you have to have common sense. And nobody can agree on anything in the world today, but it seems like we can get that you shouldn't be doing all this stuff at the pro level and then still have college eligibility. That seems basic. We can have all sorts of discussions and disagreements on a bunch of other stuff, but doesn't that seem basic? The basic premise of college sports is you're not coming from the pros, you're coming from high school, junior college, because we do let foreign guys, and that's always been murky.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because we don't really know about that.
How
but
much
I
are
think
they getting paid
they
and
need to
how
take a
early?
look at that.
Yeah, how much are they getting paid and how early?
Right.
And then you have people who draw the comparisons to real life. Well, you can go back to college in real life. Yeah, you can, but do you go to the dorms and the dining commons? I mean, you may go back and take a class, get a graduate degree or something, pivot midlife and go get a degree and do something. We hear those stories, returning students.
Yeah, I think it's apples and kumquats. I don't think it's the same.
But you don't go live in the dorms and go to the dining commons. You've moved on. I do think it'll be interesting to see if one league allows it, and maybe it won't be one of the power leagues, and will that insulate everybody against a court challenge? Because there are going to be court challenges to this.
They'll take grief in the manner that Tech took grief over Sorsby.
They will.
Because there was a universal agreement except for one school, not even the conference. Everybody in the conference. And I'm listening to Joey McGuire, Texas Tech coach, driving in this morning, and he's going to use that as motivation. That's motivation. Hey, we were ready to just screw the rules, and people call us out on it. We got to show them, yeah, we would screw the rules and bleep you if you got a problem with it. That's essentially what he's saying. That's motivation?
Apparently. Apparently. I was going to take him at his word and enjoy the show.
Jeez. And the guys, oh, yeah, I love it. I love it. Zero pushback whatsoever. Zero.
Circle it. September 18th. You can watch Texas Tech and root for Houston, and everybody in the conference will.
There's a little bit. Majerus used to talk to me about this, is that he didn't want to see road teams get a win, though, because that can give them an advantage. He always wanted to see the home teams win. Now, in basketball, road wins are harder to come by than football.
And he was also talking in an era when everybody played everybody twice. And I think the thinking here, and this might even be different between Utah and BYU for all the similarities, BYU doesn't play Houston or Texas Tech. If Tech gets that win, what really slows them down? I mean, I think most people already have them penciled into the title game. But for the few holdouts, if they beat Houston, then even the holdouts are going to pencil them into the title game. And I get it's only one game, and there's still a long way to go. It'll still be mid-September.
Yeah, but Houston has to prove itself, too. So many close wins.
And so that's why I think people will be okay with Houston winning, because they'll still have to prove themselves with the close wins. Now, from the Utes' perspective, Utah plays them at home and can beat them and take care of business. So I think Utah would rather see Texas Tech get the L and figure, well, we'll take care of business when we play Houston. Now, it's a little different for BYU because they're not playing either one of them. So, yeah, I think the whole conference will be rooting for Houston. And I get your point about the road wins, and it's well taken.
I think they'll be rooting for Houston because it's so early and you can't draw any ramifications from it, and the fact that Texas Tech is starting to get under our skin.
Right. Now, I think the last part is the most important.
But if it would have been the end of the season, it might be different. But there's so much ball to be played.
Yeah, by the end of the season, you specifically know who you need to have win or lose and what the scenarios are. And you'll realize it gets late in the year. I mean, if they were playing late in the year and a team's like, 6-0 or 7-0, you might look at their schedule and think, well, they're in the title game whether they win this game or not. But not early in the year. So circle it. And they'll have all the tight shots of him, and he can be the villain. And if he starts sweating buckets in the third quarter.
Joey?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. They'll have a lot of cutaways of him.
And Sorsby, he showed up at their scrimmage the other day. See, we take care of him.
Good dude. Yay. They take care of him.
He managed to tell us that.
Yeah. Good. Well, do it. You should. Fine. The NFL news, maybe the injury news, not so bad for Clint Kubiak's running back Ashton Genty, although the Raider coach doesn't really want to confirm it. He just says he's on the mend, staying totally nebulous.
Well, I expect him to get 25 carries in the last preseason game.
No, you don't. RSL, not good enough. PK, the injuries have piled up. They're missing 3 starters. They're playing 8 times in 25 days. They're also missing a few backups. When you're playing 8 times in 25 days, you need the backups as well to rotate through. So they get knocked out, shut out by Club Leon. 3 goals. It was over when they put the third one there in the 72nd minute or whatever it was. That pretty much wrapped it up.
That's when I went to bed.
Yeah. Now they come home. They're off today, and then they're back at it tomorrow, and they're right back to Denver. They'll play the Rapids in Commerce City Saturday night. They need reinforcements. They're not good enough right now. Just not enough players, not enough talent. Brian Rolap, the PGA Tour CEO, says no path back playing for the Live Golfers, although he doesn't slam the door on it either. There could be a path back later. There just isn't one right now because the 2 players they would most want to welcome back are still under contract as far as he knows.
Well, the demise has to be official, and it's not.
Then they can cook up a path back.
And you know somebody's stepbrother's uncle's cousin who says, hey, hold on.
Okay, I don't know if I can get this right. My dentist says his stepbrother's son's father-in-law is the Live Tour commissioner. So that's pretty much a direct line.
How many cavities?
1 chipped cavity. Previously been filled and the filling broke. So get back in there and do the heavy lifting.
Come on over. I'll fix it.
Knock it out. Klay Thompson leaves Dallas, goes to Miami. Better opportunity to win. He's excited. And Miami should win more games than Dallas.
Yeah, and then maybe they'll get Kyrie Irving.
Bum, bum, bum.
I think you're sleeping on Miami a little bit.
Yeah. How much? You want to put them top 4 in the East?
I haven't doped that out yet.
Okay.
It's too early.
Yeah. I am probably thinking of them as 5 or 6 in the East. I probably wouldn't put them top 4.
Which is an improvement over what they were last year.
It is.
But, Giannis, you got something to prove? You kind of yesterday's news, buddy.
Yep. True story. Put a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
Give him something to prove.
Right.
But I wouldn't have had the Knicks at the top of the East a year ago, and they won the whole thing. So you never know. You never, ever know. And Major League Baseball, Paul Skeens, 6 shutout innings. He's back. His velocity's up. Think he has some kind of arm trouble or something? Or
I don't know.
You think it's just mechanics and they fix it?
I don't know. Tired arm, dead arm. I don't know. But he was back up to 99. And he had dropped several miles off that fastball. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but it seems like he's too young to be losing velocity right now. We can see later that happens to everybody.
We didn't talk about this earlier. The Brewers sent in a message. Their rookie shortstop, Cooper Pratt, failed to run hard and a pop-up fell, so he's at first base, and he could have been at second. So Pat Murphy sends a message and pulls him.
Yeah, but the ball, it was a bloop behind first base, and it could have been foul. But, you got to put your head down and run. You're not asked. You don't run a lot in baseball, so when the opportunity's there, run, especially if you're a rookie. If you're Bryce Harper and you want to take a jog because your legs are feeling a little tired today.
He probably didn't get pulled from a game. He probably doesn't show up. Probably don't show up Mike Trout, Bryce Harper,
right.
Shohei Ohtani.
Because you got to play so many games.
Aaron Judge, right? Yeah. But the rookie, we can send a message.
Right.
All right, DJ PK, when we come back, your feedback. Well, now you've done it, PK. Man, you triggered people. This is so predictable. We'll get to that next. Stay with us.
And it's all over almost here.
Don't go nowhere.
And now, enough of us. It's time to hear from you. From all your texts, tweets, and posts. This is the best feedback of the day.
Ooh, I was there. It's the best game of my life.
With DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Join Scotty G and the coach Friday from 10 to 2 at Tim Dolly Mazda in Sandy, 10785 South Auto Mall Drive. Join him 10 to 2 Friday. Well, now you've done it, PK. It's been decades building, and you've triggered people.
What?
You brought up Fletch, and so we both got the text. Immediately, Cujo, here's the dog that tried to bite me. Here's my car. He tried to bite that, too.
Yeah.
Gotta love Fletch. I probably watched it 50 times. Paul sends us that.
I let him know that any chance I get, I'd like to order a steak sandwich.
And a steak sandwich. Yeah, put it on the Underhills bill.
And then the gal answers the door in just a towel after getting out of the shower, and he said he needed to borrow that towel.
Yep.
That was a close one.
So many lines from Fletch.
Moon River on the prostate exam.
River.
And have you done time,
Doc, ever done time?
And my personal favorite, 6'3", 6'7" with the afro.
I thought it was 6'6", 6'9" with the afro. Oh, okay. Let's get these quotes right. This is Fletch. This is important.
Fletch dreams he's playing for the Lakers.
Getting introduced by Chick Hearn, who had a cameo. I saw that on campus. They screened a test of that. I don't know why they came up to Santa Barbara. Somebody probably won a weekend in Santa Barbara, I guess, a movie studio person. And it was in Campbell Hall, which is a huge lecture hall, probably 1,000 people in there. And that was an awesome time. I think probably one of the top 2 or 3. I don't really think about like movie crowds the way you think of like a crowd at a game, but that was like a crowd at a game. They were just way into it. People were just roaring, going nuts over that movie. Chevy Chase, peak of his powers.
I have a friend who hated Chevy Chase and would not see the movie because he hated Chevy Chase. Because all his movies were stupid. I said, fine, all his movies are stupid, but this one is good. Anybody never saw it?
Missed out. All right, the rest of your feedback on the actual sports topics. Dolly Parton, where does she rank on your all-time list? Ben says first, second, and third. A lot of Dolly Parton fans weighing in this morning.
I saw a thing, a Mount Rushmore of people from Tennessee.
Oh, really?
And she was there.
I don't know that I would know who's from Tennessee. I guess that would be my first problem. Who else was on
military guys, Neyland, which the stadium is named after, Andrew Jackson.
Okay. A couple of generals going way back.
Those types, and Dolly Parton from Tennessee. Somebody said, hey, you could put Elvis on there. Now, it's just the corner in Memphis. He's born in Mississippi. So he's not a native, but he grew up in the Memphis area, obviously. But yeah, you need a caliber like an Elvis or a Michael Jackson to even think to begin anybody was bigger and more popular and more well-known and famous than Dolly Parton. I mean, it hit the country yesterday. Everybody's, Dolly Parton died? That sucks.
That was a unanimous reaction.
Yeah.
From music fans, movie fans. She's great on talk shows, so self-deprecating.
Right.
People were talking about her humanitarian work, which honestly I didn't hear about until like a year or two ago. Maybe I should have known about it. But it turns out she started this literacy project, and you register kids, and they send a free book every month until they're 5 to get kids reading at a young age. And apparently she's giving away 300 million books. I mean, Dolly Parton just across the board.
Mm-hmm.
All right, DJ and PK, we're all done. Coming up next, it's Scotty G. It's the coach, Tim Lacombe, right after the break, right here on The Zone.
Okay, show's over.
That's all the time we have for today.
Oh, just when it was getting good.
Don't worry, we'll be back soon. Bon voyage.
Arrivederci.
Closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay.